I have here a 4-page list of fees from the Prothonotary. And I'm not sure if the commission is part of the process where you decide what the fees are going to be and not just how much they are, but what fees are going to be charged.
Ma'am,
And,
sorry, first, could I ask you to state your name for the record?
sorry, Diane Gochin.
Ms. Goshen, the fees by the Prothonotary's office are generally set by statute and by the judiciary branch. The county commissioners are not involved in the setting of the fees.
Well, let me just answer that, because every county is having different fees. So I don't think that's true. I don't think that the Judiciary Committee is sitting there and deciding out of 67 counties who's going to charge what. That is being regulated locally here somewhere. And not only that, we have local court rules, which are being done locally and not by the judiciary in the state. And it causes a lot of confusion, and it's a huge problem. And one of the main issue that I'm here for is, when I first came into this court in divorce, and I'm still in it after 11 years for no reason, other than that they're charging me, they had 191 standard court fees. I think this was about 1 page long when I first came here 10 years ago. It's now 4 pages long, and 51 of those are specifically geared towards family court. The Fleecing of Families, to pay to see your children. The one that I think is most interesting is for dissipation of assets, $68.75. And actually, I have one of those motions outstanding for 9 years. And so, for you saying that this is not under the control of Montgomery County, that is quantifiably and qualitatively false. Someone here is...
There are many aspects to Montgomery County, and my comment was that it is not under the purview of the county commissioners, which is
Okay.
the matters.
Well, you fund the judiciary here, isn't that correct? You fund the Prothonotary, that you have a budget that goes to them, and I think we can presume pretty much that in order to pay their salaries, they had to drum up these fees, and that you must have approved them. And there's also another issue here, is that when you want to file in form of pauperis, which means after they run you out of money, you no longer have the money for the fees, it's the only form that you cannot get online. They make you drive down here to get that form and file. They make it very difficult. And I've been through this with Mark Levy. I believe he's a county employee.
No, he is the independently elected Prothonotary of Montgomery County.
Well, who's paying him?
His budget which is set by statute, comes from...
So, and as I said last time I was here, some of this money goes into the county general fund, doesn't it? None of the money from the Prothonotary goes into your county general fund?
The fees do flow back into the county general.
Well, there you go, okay? This is a county issue. And this is a disgrace. I mean, people are being fleeced here in court to see their children. I mean, miscellaneous custody order, $68.50. Divorce extra counts for custody visitation, $76.25. Divorce extra counts for dissipation of assets, $67.75. An annulment, $300. I mean, I'm just going through these. 51 of these are just geared towards families that are the most vulnerable at the worst times in their lives. And I can tell you that a representative, or I think it was a senator, Matt Baker, tried for 25 years to get this moved into the Department of Health and Human Services. And it was blocked by Senator Greenleaf, and thank the Lord that he's gone. But, you know, this is ethically and morally repugnant, that you are charging people to come in here and that you ramp this up like this so that you can pay friends and family. And I also want to say that as far as the issue that I brought up as Mr. Lawrence getting on this board, as I emailed some of you, and there was an article in the paper by you, Dr. Arkush, stating how wonderfully qualified he was for this. He gave $5,500 in campaign contributions to Josh Shapiro over the last 10 years. I don't call that, an arbitrary appointment. And, some of you have relatives working for the county. And this is where the money's coming from. People like me and like Elaine sitting here and 100 other people that I know across the state of Pennsylvania, that their counties are doing this. We had Article 5, Section 10C passed in 1968, was to form a unified judicial system. Unified, which means you would have the same court rules, the same fees. It's 67 different counties with all different fees depending on how much money they want and how much they want to pay friends and family that are occupying all these cases. And this has bankrupted people and pushed people into foreclosure. And then you've got your sheriff's sale fees, whatever percentage that is, after you cause the foreclosure. And as you are aware, I have a case that they can look up in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They can look it up under my last name and see the accusations against the justice system and the case against this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Elaine Mickman. I'd like to actually follow up on what Ms. Goshen said. And I'm here to propose and urge an immediate implementation of a county policy to waive filing fees and transcript costs for residents who are receiving or qualify for public assistance for family matters in court or for defendants in legal matters. The county funds the court, which regularly, from my experience, violates Pennsylvania Title 23, and harm is being done to the families rather than mitigating the harm. That's specifically what Title 23 is about. Again, the court, which is funded by the court, has caused also a conflict between Article 1 and Article 5 in the Pennsylvania Constitution, specifically Article 510C, and litigants are being denied due process, and they're also, which is even worse, low income are being denied access to the court. So people can't even file it for legal matters. And I'm talking about even the most minimal, which is child support. People can't even afford to file for child support. This is an outrage. You can't file for appeals, which is a violation of the Constitution. That's Article 5, Section 9. So again, therefore, I am proposing and urge the commissioners to have their own county policy waiving fees so that indigent and low income are not at the mercy and forced to go before the judiciary that regularly rubber stamp denies fee waivers. And it's an absolute conflict to have to go before a judge asking them for a fee waiver, because this allows the judiciary to be a gatekeeper, to even decide before you go into a court if you can't even access the court. So I'm strongly urging this, and this is, if the county has plenty of money to fund all sorts of other things, including that court, then they should be giving funding equally to the residents as well. And I really have pointed out, I'm really referring more to indigent and low income. And it's a very simple process, by the way. It doesn't require all sorts of brainstorming. If somebody qualifies and has been qualified for public assistance, then they should be qualified for a fee waiver for these different, if they have to file in court. And you might refer to Pennsylvania Rule 4008B. It states in there that anybody who's receiving 125% of the poverty level qualifies for fee waivers. So there's your work. It's already finished for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm already up, so is that okay?
Of course.
Pauline Braccia from Tomlinson Township. You know, I'm probably going to be talking about what these two ladies just talked about in a way. Gary Klein is the one who basically runs the show when it comes to child support. And I know that you keep saying judiciary, but I'm not asking you to do anything to the judiciary. Gary Klein is an employee of the county. He was hired by commissioners, not you, because he was hired, I don't know, back in, I guess, 1999 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what year he came on board. But as you just said earlier about these appointments, you know, they serve at the pleasure of the commissioners. So he is under your purview. He's not under the judiciary. He doesn't answer to them. He uses them and they use him so they can collude, so they can do illegal orders, so that they can hurt the families. And that's what's happening. And it's just really, the Family Justice Advisory Board or Judiciary Advisory Board was, I thought, I could be wrong, was put together to help families get through the process. But that's not what's happening. Instead, it's like you guys, and you're on it, so you're in it. So you can't deny that you're not in it. So if you're supposed to be getting together to help the families, it's more like you got together as a collusion so that anytime somebody has a question, you just point the finger to the next person in the circle. And by the way, when Judge Del Ricci said that Butler County has something like this, I called Butler County, and they don't have something like this. So he called, what did he do? Call all 66 other counties and found one across the state that has something like this? You know, it's a simple phone call to verify. I don't understand why people, especially a judge, who's supposed to be honest and, what's the word I want? Yeah, thank you. No, they don't. They don't have integrity. No. This state has the worst rating. F- is the rating for Pennsylvania judiciary. And that is a shameful thing and nothing to be proud of. And whether you are directly over them or not, you are a resident here as well. You're a citizen of Pennsylvania. And you should be concerned about the corruption in the judiciary in this county and in the state. And it's like you don't care because, you know, I don't know how much money you're getting from it, but they're screwing people over left and right. And Gary Klein is the pin lynch, or the linchpin, whichever way you want to say it. He needs to be removed. I heard a rumor that he's retiring in July. Well, I think that he needs to be stopped before July because who knows how much money he's going to be leaving with by the time July comes around. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right. No, you've used your full 5 minutes, Ms. McMahon?
I do not know.
Okay.
She didn't use all 5 minutes.
I was just going to say, instead of that $400 million injustice center, why don't you use it towards the citizens, the residents?
Are there any closing commissioners' comments? Mr.
I just want to
Lawrence.
acknowledge some of our Montgomery County employees. Yesterday, as I was returning to the building, there was a senior citizen who had been wandering around. She had come to pay her taxes, and she had lost her car. So Jen from Domestic Relations